Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, The Bronson Sky Library. So today I thought I would do the mid-year book freakout tag that basically everyone does every single year. And yeah, so because everyone does it, and because everyone has probably already done it, I don't think there's really much of an introduction for this kind of video. So I'm just gonna go into the prompts and just answer them. Unfortunately, I haven't really read many books this year. I've only read 7.5 books. I'm currently on my 8th read, and so that's why it's 7.5, which isn't a lot, and so answering these prompts was a little hard, but I managed. I did, so yeah, let's just get into the prompts. Okay, so the first prompt is best book you've read so far in 2024. Fortunately, I've read a bunch of really great books this year. I'm pretty sure every single book that I've read so far I've loved, except for one, which we'll get to that later. So it was kind of hard to choose my favorite read, slightly. There were 3 to choose from, and I chose the one that doesn't work for any of the other prompts. So yeah, and anyway, so the best book that I've read in 2024 so far has been Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. So I remember seeing this book a lot, years ago, and I was like, ooh, that sounds really cool. I think I want to read it, but then I didn't read it because everyone talked about the purple prose and how beautiful and purpley the writing was, and I thought to myself, well, that will probably be too smart for me. I probably won't understand it because I am more of a straightforward and simple prose kind of gal because I understand them and I can visualize them. And so I didn't read Strange the Dreamer for a very long time, but I picked it up and I loved it. The writing definitely was beautiful and did have purple prose, but luckily I understood it and I loved it. I thought her writing was phenomenal, and just the way that she did foreshadowing in this book, oh, that was really good. I loved her foreshadowing. Her characters were great. Laszlo Strange, we follow Laszlo Strange, and he is just like a cinnamon roll of a character. He's such a good-hearted boy, and I love him. And yeah, and then Sarai was really interesting. I loved the concept of the book. It's a fantasy romance, and it was kind of like a slow burn kind of well, no, they actually fell in love pretty fast. However, the book was slow moving, and the plot was slow moving, I feel like, but it was still so well done and so beautiful. I really enjoyed it. It was definitely one of my favorite books of the year. That's why I'm answering it with my favorite book of the year so far. So yeah, I think everyone should read that book because of how great and beautiful it is, and just the dynamic between Sarai and Laszlo was really sweet and innocent and pure, and yeah, I just really enjoyed it. And again, the writing, the foreshadowing, I just remember reading a few of the chapters and being like, wow, or just simple lines, something about I don't sleep well and weep, and I was like, oh my gosh. If you've read it, you'll understand that line, but I remember seeing that and I was like, oh, that is such a great line, such great writing. Oh my gosh. So a little context behind that line. There's a character, Sarai. Her magic is she has these moths inside of her, and she kind of she lets go of the moths every single night, and these moths go and lay down on or lie on top of someone, and then she can enter into their dreams and give them nightmares. And so someone said that line of like, I don't sleep well in Weep, which Weep is the city, and I was like, ooh, that's so cool. Anyway, it's just really, really great writing, and the chapters with like the dream chapters where she enters into Laszlo's dreams, oof, those are good. Phenomenal. I love those chapters. Yeah. Anyway, this whole book is just so good. Okay, and then prompt 2 is best sequel you've read so far in 2024. I would have to say Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. So this was also in like the running of like my favorite book of the year so far, because I loved Divine Rivals. I think I liked that a little bit more than Ruthless Vows, but then I loved Ruthless Vows. It was like my favorite. It was my favorite sequel for sure. So yes, I've talked a little bit about Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows, more fantasy romance. For some reason I've been like into like fantasy romance books this year. I don't know why, but and I've also been on like a rom-com kick as well. Apparently I just like romance. I've also been on a lot of dates. Have they gone anywhere? No. No, they have not. But I've gone on dates. So anyway, yeah, I've been on like this fantasy romance kind of kick, and Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows definitely lived up to the hype. I loved the romance between Romus. Well, I guess that's a ship name for them because it's Roman and Iris, so Romus. Or Iron Man? Iron Man, yeah. Okay, Romus. We'll stick with Romus. Anyway, so I really, is it Iris? Yes, because Elizabeth is her middle name, so it's Iris. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I love Roman and Iris's romance that they have, and I love Roman as a character. I really enjoyed Iris, and I loved the, like, it felt very historical fiction. It was like a historical fiction fantasy romance kind of book, or books, and I just loved them so much. So yeah, Ruthless Vows, definitely my favorite sequel of the year so far. And then the third prompt is new release you haven't read yet but want to. The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. I didn't even know about it until I saw it in the bookstore, and I was like, ooh, cool, and I picked it up and I bought it, and I haven't read it yet, but that is definitely one of the newer releases that I want to read. Prompt number 4 is most anticipated release for the second half of 2024. Wind and Truth. Duh. Like, I'm a huge Brandon Sanderson fan, so of course that is going to be my most anticipated release. I'm so excited. I want to see how it ends so bad. Well, this first arc. I want to see how the first arc ends, and Kaladin better not die. If he dies, like, that's dumb. Stupid. But I've heard people say that Kaladin's gonna die, and I disagree. I think that is wrong. I think that's wrong. Okay. Prompt 5. Biggest disappointment. The Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England, I think it's called. We'll just call it Frugal Wizard. Yeah. That was definitely the biggest disappointment of the year so far. Cool concept, being able to, like, buy other dimensions and going to visit those other dimensions, like, super cool concept. However, poorly executed. I love Sanderson, but that just, it just wasn't great. I feel bad saying that, but it just wasn't great, okay? Sorry. But, yeah. I have nothing else to say other than that. Biggest surprise. So, prompt 6 is biggest surprise. Probably, this is one that I had a harder time knowing what to put, because I haven't read a lot of books this year, But I put Gallant by V.E. Schwab. I went into it blind, not knowing what it was about, and I actually really enjoyed it. Not my favorite V.E. Schwab. Honestly, after I've read it, it kind of has lost my mind a little bit. Like, gone from my mind. I'm like, oh, I've kind of forgotten it, but like, well, yeah, I don't know. It's really good. I loved it. So that's definitely the biggest surprise. I didn't realize I was gonna like enjoy it as much as I did, especially because I read like reviews and people being like, oh yeah, this is my least favorite V.E. Schwab book and stuff like that. But it's not my least favorite, but I don't know what else to say about this book other than like I was just genuinely surprised at how much I liked this book. But I don't know why I was surprised that I liked it. It's just, I think I'm surprised because I went into it blind, not knowing what it was about or anything, and ended up really enjoying it. So that's probably why. And then prompt 7 is new favorite author. So all of the authors that I've read this year, for the most part, have been authors that I have already read. The only ones that I have never read before was Rebecca Ross for Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. And so I did put, like, maybe Rebecca Ross. It's just I haven't read anything else of hers besides Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. So I don't know if she's a favorite author yet. I did buy River Enchanted by her, so we'll see if I like that one. So she might be a new favorite, but I also put V.E. Schwab. Like, I've always liked every single one of V.E. Schwab's books, but I've never actually been like, yeah, she's a favorite author. But now I think I can legit say that V.E. Schwab is a favorite author. Like, I am now being like, yeah, she is. Because before, I never really said her because I, for some reason, just, like, didn't know if she was or not. I don't know. But yeah, now I can, after reading Gallant, I can honestly say that V.E. Schwab is a favorite author, and she's like an auto-buy author for sure, because I just automatically buy all of the books she writes, honestly. So, yeah, I'll say V.E. Schwab for that one. And then prompt 8 is newest fictional crush. I guess you could say Roman Kit from Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows. I also put Laszlo because he's sweet, adorable, and I want a man like Laszlo Strange, 100%. He's like the perfect human ever, perfect person ever. So, yeah, maybe Laszlo and Roman Kit, but I don't really know if they're like fictional crushes. Anyway, prompt 9 is newest favorite character. Definitely Laszlo. Laszlo Strange is definitely a favorite for sure from this year. Yeah, I think he has a lot of depth to him. I think he has a lot of character. I don't know, it's just, he's just so sweet and cute and adorable and respectful, and I love that, and I think he's written very, very well. So, Laszlo Strange. Prompt 10 is a book that made you cry. That would be The Winners by Fredrik Backman. Backman has a way with words, and his words punch you in the gut, so that made me cry for sure, especially the Benji chapters and the Maya chapters, and the Benji and Maya chapters together, the ones where they're together, those chapters for sure. Yeah. Oof. That book definitely made me cry. Too long, the book was too long, but hey, it still made me cry because Fredrik Backman is a master at making people cry. Anyway, prompt 11. Prompt 11 says, book that made you happy. all of them because just books make me happy in general, but I put Yumi and the Nightmare Painter for that prompt because that book just was kind of wholesome in a way. Not as wholesome as Tress, I would say, but still like pretty wholesome, and it did make me happy, especially since Yumi and Painter, like the two main characters, it's like a romance between the two, and romance makes me happy. I'm telling you, I'm in a rom-com romance phase right now. Maybe because I need to live vicariously through other people because I don't get it in my own life. Anyway, prompt 12 is favorite book to movie adaptation you've seen this year. I had a hard time with this one too because the adaptations that I've seen, I actually haven't read the books for. So I don't know if it is like the prompt is asking for like which books have you read that you've watched the adaptation for and really enjoyed. I honestly don't know if that's what the prompt is or if I can just choose movies that I've seen that I haven't read the books for, so that's what I did. So I watched the movie Atonement with Keira Knightley and James McAvoy and Saoirse Ronan. I watched that recently and I know that there's a book to it, but I just haven't read the book. But the movie was phenomenal. I loved it a lot. It's a very tragic movie, but I love tragedy as well. I love romance and tragedy, just like I like happy little rom-coms. So I really, really enjoyed Atonement. I thought the filmmaking was phenomenal, and there's like the Dunkirk scene where it's just like one shot and like the three characters we're following throughout that scene keeps like going in and out of frame, and it's so cool. And also it's just very tragic, and yeah, it was phenomenal. And then Dune Part 2, I haven't read Dune either, so I don't know if I can say that it's my favorite adaptation either, since I haven't read the book, but it was still fantastic. I loved Dune Part 2. I thought it was great, and I thought the writing of the film was phenomenal. So, yeah, Dune Part 2. If I guess I could say Lord of the Rings, because I have been watching Lord of the Rings a lot, and I've been watching Lord of the Rings a lot. Like, they just re-released them in theaters, like, this weekend, and this last weekend, and I went to all three movies in theaters, so I got to see the movies in theaters for the very first time since I was, like, 2 and a half or something. No, I wasn't 2 and a half. No, I was so much older than 2 and a half. Because it came out in 2001. I was born in 96. So, 97, 98, 99, 2000, I was 5. Yeah. I was 5. Okay, I don't know why I thought I was 2. I was 5, okay? I think the reason why I thought that I was 2 and a half was because yesterday my friend was like, oh yeah, like you got to see the movies with me like 25 years later, and I'm 27, so I was like, well, 25 years ago I was like 2. But the movies came out in 2001. So I wasn't 2, I was 5. Okay. I think my friend is doing the math wrong on how many years Lord of the Rings came out. So, anyway. But yeah, you could say that Lord of the Rings is another like favorite adaptation because I've been reading the books and I watched the movies a lot this year so far, and those books or those movies are just phenomenal. And I'm actually really enjoying the books. I haven't read them before, so maybe that's another one to put. I mean, I've seen the movies so many times, but they're still fantastic each time. So, yeah, Lord of the Rings, Two Towers, really good. And then prompt 13 is most beautiful book you bought this year. I guess I would say A Bright Heart by Kate Chenley. I recently just bought it, and I think the cover is beautiful, and I think there's, on the flap, it talks about, like, avenging your murder. Like, what if you could avenge your murder? And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. So, yeah, like, the cover definitely caught my eye, and so I maybe would say that one. I don't know. I think all of the books that I've bought this year are beautiful in a way, but definitely that cover is super, super cool and pretty, in my opinion. Then 14 is what books do you really need to read by the end of this year? Lord of the Rings. I need to finish Lord of the Rings and finish the movies, and also do my videos that I've been planning to make on the Lord of the Rings movies and just haven't done so yet. And then I have to finish the rest of Harry Potter, and also make the videos on those books as well. And then also I have to just read all of the books that I have bought. So just like all of the books on my shelves. I'm obviously not going to get to all of the books that I haven't read on my shelves yet, but I do need to read them. So, yeah. Anyway, that is the tag. I don't know if I don't think I missed any of the questions, but if I did, then oops. So, yeah. I don't know what to say for my outro, but I guess thanks for watching. Subscribe, comment, and see you later. Alright, bye!